Well, I got it all jacked up, ready to get started. First thing I'm going to do is crawl underneath it and go ahead and drain the fluid out and take the drive shaft off, see if I can get the starter out, and then take off anything else that's down there. And that ought to take me a few minutes, so I'll get started on that. Well, I'm underneath it here, looking at the transmission, and first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take all those pan bolts loose and then get one corner all the way out and just drain the pan. And looking under here, I knew the exhaust was gone and I didn't know how much was left, but looking on here, it looks like somebody cut it with a torch right here up next to the cats, which is going to make it a little tricky to put a new exhaust on because I'm not going to replace the cats, so I'll figure something out. But anyway, onto the pan. Looks like it's pretty good. It's not real greasy anywhere. Hasn't been leaking much except for up front, so I'll go ahead and take that loose and drain it out. Well, now I've got the pan loose. It's just dribbling out now. I'll go ahead and loosen up a little more so it runs better and drain out all the fluid into the pan. And after all the fluid's gone, I'll take the pan off and just drain that and then put it back up for now temporarily, and then I can begin to take the drive shaft off. Well, I've got the pan off and fluid looks pretty dark and nasty, so it's kind of what I figured it'd be anyway, but pan's off. Oh, I'll show you under here. Got a new filter for it, I believe, so that won't be a problem. But now I'll just let that drip for a while, and I'll empty out the pan and I'll throw it back on and we can continue taking it apart. Well, alright, I got the pan back on. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the drive shaft off. Basically there's 4 bolts back there. Take those 4 bolts off and then pull her out. Not really much to it, pretty simple. Well, I got the drive shaft off. I think next step is the starter. Sweet. Well, I got the starter out. And that was a bitch with a capital B. I'm going to have to do another little sub video, I guess, fixing this one. I noticed that there's a little bit too much movement in that bearing that's in the nose cone here. And then, of course, it wasn't engaging all the time, so I think I got another one in that pile somewhere. So hopefully I'll have enough parts to make one good one. But that'll be another video. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and crawl back under. Oh, and we're going to take that plate right there off. Or unbolt it at least. Yeah, that little plate behind it, there's 2 plates. The little plate will take off. And then I'll go ahead and start unbolting the stuff on the side, taking all that off. Speedometer drive in the back there, neutral safety switch, all that good junk. Well, I got the little inspection plate off. I've also gone under here and I've taken off the speedometer gear. You can see that way back there. I got all the linkages off the side here, and I've got inspection plate is off, and I've got, what else did I take off? Oh, the little bracket that holds on the linkages, I took that off. And I noticed I got a blue torque converter. Never seen one of those before. Of course, that doesn't surprise me. I don't work on transmissions every day. But next step, take these torque converter nuts off, and then I suppose that cross member in the back, I'll loosen that up, and then I'll be ready to have fun with the bell housing bolts. I've only seen a few of them and they don't look easy to get to. So I guess I'll have fun with that. Alright, well, I got the cross member unbolted underneath and the tranny mount unbolted, and I got the torque converter nuts off. So next step is detach the training lines, and then try to get to all the torque converter bolts, or not torque converter, bell housing bolts. That ought to be fun. But first I'm going to charge up my light and then go in and eat something, because I'm kind of hungry. Well, I'm in the process of getting the bell housing bolts out, and to make that easier, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've loosened this fan shroud, and I've actually taken the rear cross member out for the transmission. And the reason I did that was so I could drop it down, the back end of it. And the reason I took the fan shroud out was so that when I drop this down, it didn't break the shroud. And from down here, you can get to both of the top bell housing bolts if you have a really long extension. And I've got that one loose already. It's kind of a pain, but it's better than trying to get them from the top. So that one's out. I just got to go ahead and pull it out with a magnet. And then I've got two on this side that you probably can't see because I can't see them. And then one left on the other side to get out, which will be pretty easy. So there's a little trick there if you ever work on one of these. It's a hell of a lot easier than trying to squeeze in from the top. Well, so far I've got 3 out of the 6 bell housing bolts out. There's one on the driver's side, one of the lower ones there that's giving me a little trouble. It won't come out. So I think I'm going to go inside, wash the tranny fluid out of my hair, and come back at her tomorrow, see how it goes. Well, I got her out. Took some doing, but finally got that bolt out. It was in kind of an awkward place, so I couldn't pull it out, but got the transmission out. And of course that bolt right there hooked onto a piece of wire and then snapped the wire when I pulled it out, so I'll have to go under there and fix that. But transmission's out, hard part's done. Well, the second hardest part. I still have to put it back in when I'm done with it. That's going to be the hard part. But I think I'll just clean this up and drag it over underneath my hoist and just hook it to that and clean off this table and set it on the table, because that thing it weighs a ton. I think it weighs like 150 pounds. I think that's with the converter in it. Nice pretty blue converter. That thing probably weighs 40 pounds on its own, 30-40 pounds. But yeah, it's out. Now we get to clean it off and take it apart.